Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning has been on human trafficking. 50,000 women and children are trafficked into the U.S. each year, and there are 100 to 300,000 underage girls being sold for sex in America. My next guest has helped create a guerrilla campaign to raise awareness and prevent cases of human trafficking here in Milwaukee. It's my pleasure to welcome Gary Mueller, who is the founder of Serve Marketing. Hi, Gary.
How you doing?
And you've been here before, so I should say welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back.
It's a pleasure to have you here. As I mentioned, you are the founder of Serve Marketing, and you've had it going since 2002. Tell us more about it and how you came up with this concept.
Well, it's an all-volunteer organization. We work with underserved causes, so that means we shine a light on causes that people don't know about, or people don't issues that people don't believe exist. Many of them are crisis causes that affect inner city teens, women and children. So they're everything from teen pregnancy to statutory rape to foster care to human trafficking. The idea actually isn't mine. It's attributed to me. It's actually, I had an epiphany at church. I was listening to a sermon by the pastor who was talking about everybody has a mission in life, to give back and to do something that benefits people. And my mission in life that popped into my head was serve, and to use the resources of my ad agency, BVK, and all the volunteers and all the people that I lead to help give back and shine a light on these underserved causes in town.
Yeah, and you've done an outstanding job doing that for many years now. And I have mentioned that you being a nonprofit and giving back, you've actually given, or donated, I should say, $15 million worth of media, web, print, and broadcast production to nonprofit organizations. So why is this so important for you to give back in this way?
Well, there's all these organizations that don't have help. They can't tell their story. You can't change a dangerous behavior if people don't know about it. You can't fund a cause like the Human Trafficking Task Force if you don't know about them. And I just think it's important for any businesses to give back, but especially ad agencies who can really make a difference. Like, we have the ability to connect with people in a way that actually changes a person's behavior, whether you're trying to have people avoid a bad behavior or take on a healthier behavior. We have the ability to convince people to do that, and so I think it's our responsibility to do that.
Yeah, you have the ability to do it, but it takes a great amount of creativity to be able to capture people's attention and get them to really stop for a second and think, because most of the time we're driving and we're in our own world trying to get from point A to point B.
And we're texting and driving, so
we hope people are not texting and driving, but there's a lot going on in people's everyday lives. So you do have to really find a way to tap into their mindset and get their attention. So on many occasions, you have used shock value to really get the community talking. Sometimes people have been totally appalled by the messaging, but the bottom line is they were talking about it, right?
Right, and again, these are a lot of the causes we work with are not causes you want to talk about or waiting to hear about. So you have to make people uncomfortable a little bit, and make people uncomfortable with their inaction, because ultimately somebody's not doing something for there to be a problem, or you need more people to do something. So that's part of our mission, to make people uncomfortable with their inaction.
Absolutely. So I mentioned that you did partner with the Human Trafficking Task Force of Greater Milwaukee to launch this guerrilla campaign that aims to keep children safe, happy, and healthy this summer. So if you would tell us more about this particular campaign.
Well, what we did was we put vending machines in really high traffic areas on the near north and south sides. But these vending machines, we put really very public street corners, but they had images of children inside.
Wow.
And they had, lines attached to them that said things like, some things should never be for sale, and how sex traffickers, this is how sex traffickers see a 13-year-old. And the whole idea is to get the community talking about this issue and to understand that it really is a problem that's growing in the city of Milwaukee, and that it affects little kids. I mean, the average age is 13 that a kid goes into sex trafficking. So this got people talking. This got people posting pictures on their Instagram feeds and on Facebook. It took off in the media, and so it just generated a lot of talk that I think is necessary out there if we're going to fix this problem.
So the message is kids are not for sale.
Right, and they're not for sale, and parents, it's kind of a wake-up call for parents that this really does exist. It affects everyone, as Dana said, and you need to know the warning signs. So all of our messaging directs people to a website called unlucky13.org, where parents can learn the warning signs and tips and things to look for and what to do if you suspect your daughter or somebody else's child is being human trafficked.
So these vending machines you mentioned are in high traffic areas across the city, 27th and North, 12th and Mitchell, and then KK and Lincoln Avenue. So people can be on the lookout for these. So this is actually a vending machine that they can punch a button and get something out.
Well, yeah, and now the campaign is finishing up. So the vending machines are down, but there's bus shelters all around that have the same imagery. But we were handing out cards to people on the street that give the warning signs. So that's what you get that you can share with your family, friends, and
that's
again,
what was coming out of the vending machine.
Know what to do coming out of the vending machine.
Wow, and so people can now be on the lookout for the bus shelters, and those were donated as well.
Yes, they were donated by Clear Channel, very generous donation to help the cause. And that's one of the reasons why you have to be so provocative, because groups like the Human Trafficking, they don't have money to do marketing like other groups do that have 10,000 or 100,000 or they rely on partnerships and people to help them. So Clear Channel was a great partner.
So that website again was unlucky13.org, and you actually created the website to give warning signs and to share important tips for individuals to stay safe, specifically during the summer months, because you've got parents who are working and a lot of the kids who are left at home, and they're usually old enough to be home. 13 is usually old enough, but this is when they're most vulnerable to falling into some of the traps that are out there. And
that's why we launched it the day before MPS got out of school.
Okay.
So that parents did understand your kids are most vulnerable in the summer when they're unsupervised. So we just think this is a great way to get their attention.
Absolutely. Let's discuss some of the other campaigns that you've created that have been used around the city to raise awareness. We know that there's a huge scenario with co-sleeping here in our city. There's infant mortality, all of these things, and you have pretty much put campaigns together to help the city in getting the message out.
Right. We've worked on infant mortality with the health department and now the Life Course Initiative and the United Way. Our Strong Baby campaign is something that a lot of people probably recognize, and that is going to have the next chapter coming up in the next few months. We're going to have another year-long campaign, again promoting the healthy behaviors that we want young parents to do. So you can be on the lookout for some strong babies popping up around
because
town.
I remember the co-sleeping actually got a lot of attention. Was that the one with the baby on the bed with the butcher knife?
Right.
Yeah, and people were like, well, what does that mean? But you're basically saying you wouldn't put your child in the bed with something like a knife. So that's the same way you need to think when it comes to co-sleeping.
Actually, I was actually in Boston the day it hit the national news, and I saw that story on the national news in Boston. But the point there is that the numbers kept going up, and they keep hitting record numbers of co-sleeping deaths. At some point, you got to tear the Band-Aid off and kind of stun people. And not that campaign has had a direct impact on lowering co-sleeping. But what it did was it got everybody in the community talking, it got all the leaders together, it galvanized people on the issue that we have to do something about it. And so from that standpoint, I think it had an impact.
Okay, so what I wanted to pinpoint before we run out of time, you actually do offer your services to nonprofit organizations. How do you go about figuring out what campaigns you are going to jump on board with and do something
Well,
with?
we're not taking any right now. We're pretty full.
You're pretty full,
but
I'm
we work
sure.
with mostly on inner city issues, women and children and families, health related issues, and most of them are kind of crisis issues. Like I said, human trafficking, STDs, teen pregnancy, statutory rape, domestic violence. So there's kind of, in foster care, there's kind of an intersection among all these groups. So they all kind of work off each other and together, and we use the kind of the learnings we get talking to all these different groups to help inform all of our campaigns.
And the last time you were here, we were talking about dogs and domestic violence. And so that was a campaign to kind of remind people that usually if there's domestic violence in the home, then the animals are at risk as well. So I remember that. Quickly, we've talked about the importance of this being a volunteer effort. So how are you able to get the services such as photography and directing and talent and all those things? Those people usually are paid. So how do you go about balancing that out and making everyone a volunteer, so to speak?
Well, and that's one of the things people always say, I did this campaign or that. I have a huge volunteer network that does the work. They do it, and they're an amazing group, and we have an amazing group in the city that are so passionate about giving back as we are, that we've just kind of aligned ourselves to all these people, and we have over 100 volunteers. And when I pick up the phone and call someone, even if I've asked somebody to volunteer 3 or 4 times in a row, they always do it if they can. So it's just it's a fantastic group, and a lot of them are from BBK, from the ad agency that I work at as well.
Yeah, and that's really what it's all about, are people really taking their talents, pulling together, and making a difference. And that, needless to say, is how we really do overcome some of the issues that we deal with on a daily basis right here in the city of Milwaukee. So thank you for all of the hard work that you do in spreading awareness and making people really take a second and think about what's going on right here in our city.
We're happy to do it.
All right, it has been a pleasure, as always. And Gary Mueller is the founder of Serve Marketing and the Executive VP and Creative Director of BVK. For more information on Serve Marketing and all they offer, you can log on to servemarketing.com. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, I thank you for watching, and I do hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues, Milwaukee. Have a great day.